Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. I am so incredibly pumped you're here today because we are tackling a topic that is, quite honestly, a total game changer for how you work. If you've been searching for a way to just drastically speed up your drafting process, well, you're in exactly the right place. We're zeroing in on the 10 absolute essential AutoCAD keyboard shortcuts. We're going to break down exactly what they are, how they seamlessly fit together, and why mastering these 10 keystrokes is literally the single best thing you can do for your efficiency. Let's get right into it. So, I want you to ask yourself a totally honest question right now. Are you still clicking through menus in AutoCAD? I mean, if you're dragging your mouse all the way up to the top of the screen every single time you need to draw a basic shape, you've got to stop. Look, the ribbon menu is fantastic for discovering tools when you're a beginner, for sure. But relying on it for your day-to-day drafting, it's like driving with the handbrake on. It creates this massive bottleneck in your productivity, and today, we're breaking that habit. The ultimate goal here is super simple. We want to save you hours every single week. This isn't just about trying to look like a pro hacker at your desk. It's about reclaiming your very real, very valuable time. When you make that switch from relying on your mouse to trusting your keyboard, you're shaving precious seconds off of every single action. And over a day, a week, a month, those seconds compound into actual hours. That's time you could spend tweaking your designs, taking on fresh projects, or, hey, just going home a little bit earlier. There's honestly this massive divide in how people interact with this software. On one hand, you've got the tedious, old-school process of hunting through the ribbon, switching tabs, scanning for tiny icons, and constantly breaking your visual focus on the drawing itself. But on the other hand, you have instant keyboard actions. Your eyes literally never have to leave the design space. Your hands just build up that muscle memory, and the software reacts to your thoughts in real time. It's a completely different, lightning-fast way to work. To get you up to that speed, we're following a super logical 5-step workflow today. 1. Creating your base geometry. 2. Refining and modifying shapes. 3. Manipulating and placing objects. 4. Navigating your entire drawing. And 5. Mastering your new workflow.
Let's start right at the beginning. Step 1. Creating your base geometry.
We have to start with the absolute bedrock command of AutoCAD, right? The line. Pressing L and then hitting Enter allows you to start drawing lines instantly. There is absolutely zero need to mouse all the way up to the draw panel. You just tap L, hit Enter, and boom, your cursor is immediately ready to start dropping points. It is pure, instant execution. Next up in our base geometry toolkit is the circle. By just tapping the C key, you can create circles without digging through the ribbon at all. The circle tool is one of those icons that somehow always gets buried, or it forces you to click a drop-down menu just to find the exact type of circle you need. By just hitting the C shortcut, you bypass all that hunting and jump straight into defining your center point and radius. Now this next one is easily one of the most efficient commands in the entire software, REC for rectangle. With this shortcut, you're drawing perfect rectangles in literally just 2 clicks. You type REC, hit Enter, click your first corner, and click your opposite corner. Bam, you've got a perfectly closed rectangular polyline. No sketching out 4 separate lines, no crossing your fingers hoping your corners actually meet, just 2 clicks and the whole shebang is perfect. Okay, moving on to step 2, refining and modifying shapes. Our very first refining tool is Offset, which you trigger just by hitting the O key. This shortcut is amazing because it lets you copy objects at a highly precise distance in mere seconds. Whether you're setting up wall thicknesses, making concentric circles, or laying out parallel pathways, just typing O gives you that exact, uniform distance. And you don't have to manually copy things or try to calculate crazy coordinates in your head. It is incredibly fast and incredibly precise. But look, as you offset and intersect all these shapes, your drawing is absolutely going to get messy. That's just drafting. And that's exactly where TR for trim comes in to save the day. This shortcut is completely essential for cleaning up your workspace. By typing TR, you can remove unwanted line segments super quickly. You just slice away all those overlapping tails and excess bits of geometry, and it instantly neatens up your line work. And the perfect partner in crime to trim is Extend, which you access with EX. Because sometimes your lines just fall a little bit short, right? Using the EX shortcut, you can seamlessly stretch your objects out until they hit another boundary. You don't have to delete and redraw the line from scratch. You just type EX and push that geometry exactly where it needs to go to close the gap. It's magic.
All right, let's look at step 3, manipulating and placing objects.
Listen, if you take absolutely nothing else away from this section, please remember this one, CO or CP for copy. This is the ultimate time saver. It lets you duplicate objects without ever redrawing them. Seriously, if you've just spent 10 minutes perfectly drafting a really complex component, you should never, ever draft it again. Just hit CO or CP and stamp that flawless geometry wherever else you need it in your file. Once you have your parts, you need to put them in the right spot, which is where M for move comes in. But this isn't just about dragging things around the screen willy-nilly. The M shortcut lets you relocate objects accurately using a base point. It basically ensures that when you shift your geometry, it snaps perfectly into its new home based on the exact coordinates or snaps that you define. Zero guesswork. Finally, for manipulation, we have RO for rotate. Because let's face it, your designs aren't always going to sit perfectly straight on a rigid grid. Using RO lets you spin and place your objects to literally any angle with absolute precision. You can just rotate them freely by eye, or you can actually type in the exact degree measurements so your geometry perfectly matches your design intent. Let's jump to step 4, navigating your entire drawing. So the Z shortcut for zoom is incredibly versatile on its own, but there is one highly specific combination you absolutely need to know. If you type Z and then immediately type E, you trigger what's called zoom extents. What this does is it instantly pulls your camera way back to frame every single piece of geometry in your entire file. It lets you see your whole drawing instantly, perfectly centered right on your screen. If you ever get lost in the weeds of a massive file, this is hands down the best way to quickly reorient yourself. And that brings us to our final step, step 5, mastering your new workflow. At the end of the day, it all comes down to practice and commitment. If you can actually commit these 10 specific shortcuts to your muscle memory, line, circle, rectangle, offset, trim, extend, copy, move, rotate, and zoom, you are going to cross a major threshold. You will absolutely work faster than most AutoCAD beginners out there. You're going to leave that slow, frustrating menu hunting phase entirely in the dust and step into a much more fluid, truly professional way of interacting with the software. So, I want to leave you with a little something to think about as you jump back into your drafting today. Which shortcut do you find yourself using the most? Are you a serial copier, stamping things everywhere, or do you find yourself trimming away constantly? Let us know what your most relied upon shortcut is down in the comments. And hey, if you found this breakdown helpful in optimizing your daily workflow, make sure to follow for even more tips. Keep practicing those keystrokes, and I will see you in the next explainer.